All right, so back again with 21 through 30 on the STAAR Geometry Practice Test. For question 21, it says here the hand clock, or the hand on a circular clock in the figure below measures 10 centimeters. So this hand here is 10 centimeters. Which of the following is closest to the distance that the tip of the hand travels as it moves from the 12 to the 3? So the tip of the hand is going to go from here to here, but it's not going along a straight path. As that hand rotates, it's actually going in what would be the arc of a circle. So basically, what is the perimeter or the circumference of just that part of the circle? A few different ways you could do this. You could look at it in terms of degrees. You could look at it as a fraction, as 1/4 of the entire circle, or you could think of it in terms of the actual numbers on the hand. That's 3/12 of the way around the clock. So in any case, it's going to be a fraction of the total circumference. So I know the circumference equals 2 pi r, and that the radius is 10. I can plug that in and find the whole circumference, but I only want 1/4 or 3/12 of the total distance. So that's 3 hours out of the 12 of 2 pi, and the radius is 10 centimeters. So that simplifies to 1/4, which makes sense. That's 1/4, or 90 degrees out of 360 is 1/4 as well. 2 pi 10. So 1/4 of 2 is 1/2. 1/2 of 10 is 5 pi. Should be about 16 on that one if you plug it in your calculator. Okay, so next question. A plane intersects a cylinder. Which of the following cannot be formed by the intersection? So if a plane intersects a cylinder, let's say that the very first way that it could intersect is just where it's barely touching the edge. Let's say it was like an actual physical can touching a wall. It could be touching right along this one, so it definitely could be in line. As we move it over across, let's say it intersects through the middle now. So let's say it goes like right through here. As it went through, let's say the plane cut right through the middle, you would get a rectangle right there. Not my best drawing yet, but you would get a rectangle if it cut right through the middle. So there's a rectangle. If you made one parallel to the base, you would get a circle. So the only one you couldn't make on here would be a triangle. So you can't make a triangle intersecting a cylinder with a plane. On 23 says, which expression can be used to find the length of QR in centimeters? So QR is this piece here. Looks like this is straight trigonometry. I know that I could use the opposite of 20 degrees and the adjacent to 20 degrees, and opposite and adjacent ratio would be tangent. So I know that tangent of 20 degrees should equal opposite over adjacent. And if I solve for x, multiply both sides by 19, I get 19 times tangent of 20 degrees. So 19 times tangent of 20. Looks like should be that one. Okay. You just find the blah, blah. Well, that's done. I guess we're done. That's all we were doing was finding that one. Should be B. On question 24, it says in circle E below, angle AEB equals angle CED. So AEB equals angle CED. Based on this information, which statement must be true? Okay, arc AB, segment AB is congruent to segment CD. That's actually true based on one of the properties we learned, that if you have congruent central angles, they intercept congruent arcs and they make congruent chords. So pretty sure that's the answer right there. EB perpendicular. I don't know if anything's perpendicular. I don't know anything about any of these angles. Nothing tells me that it's got to be exactly 90 degrees anywhere on there. Measure of angle AED has to equal 4 of DEC. I don't know how big this angle is. Obviously, this straight line is 180, but I don't know how big this angle is. If it got bigger, this angle would get bigger, and it doesn't have to be 4 of them. And then if I add those two angles together, then it equals BEC. Same thing. I don't know if I add these together if it's going to equal this. So that first one is the correct answer because that's one of the properties that we learned. If you have central angles that are congruent, then it's going to create congruent congruent arcs here and congruent chords. Or if you had congruent chords, the central angles have to be congruent and the arcs would have to be congruent. Any one of those three pieces of information would mean the other two have to be congruent to each other. So definitely F on that one. 425, graph of line G shown below. Which equation describes a line parallel to G that has a y-intercept at 0, -1? So first thing I noticed on this one is it asks about parallel lines, and we should know that parallel lines have the same slope. So if I can find the slope, I'll just check and see which one of these, because they all have different slopes here. I'll just see which one has the correct slope. So the slope on this one is change in y over change in x. So the y value changes from 6 to 2 goes down 4. And the change in x goes from -4 to +4, goes up 8. So the slope of that line equals -1/2. So that means the slope of a parallel line has to be the same slope. I already know that this is it, and the y-intercept is at -1, just to check and make sure. So that part is correct as well. So it has to be C. All right, 26 says 3 gears in a machine are positioned relative to each other to form an isosceles right triangle. So isosceles means 2 congruent legs. So these two pieces are going to be congruent, shown below. What is the distance in centimeters between the center of the gears located at B and C? So because this is an isosceles right triangle, I know there are 2 congruent sides. There's also 2 congruent angles. This is a 45, 45, 90, which means this is a special right triangle. I can represent the sides in terms of x, x, and x square root of 2. That means if I take these and solve for x, x square root of 2 equals 9.1 square root of 2. Divide both sides by square root of 2. The square root of 2's cancel out, you get x equals 9.1. That was actually a much easier question if you understand special right triangles. You could do this one with Pythagorean theorem, get x squared plus x squared equals 9.1 square root of 2 squared. And it'd take a lot longer work, but you could solve this one doing Pythagorean theorem. Or you could do trigonometry. 2 other ways you could have done this one, not nearly as efficient though as special right triangles. 427 says the following conditional statement is true. If a quadrilateral is a square, then it has 4 congruent sides. Which statement must also be true? If a quadrilateral has 4 congruent sides and it's a square, that's not true. You could have a rhombus. Here's a quadrilateral with 4 congruent sides. That's a rhombus, not necessarily a square. If a quadrilateral does not have 4 congruent sides, then it is not a square. That's true. To be a square, it does have to have 4 congruent sides. So I'm pretty sure this one has got to be correct. If a quadrilateral is not a square, then it does not have 4 congruent sides. That's not true. Here's a quadrilateral that's not a square that does have 4 congruent sides. So it's not that one. And let's look at the last one. If a quadrilateral does not have 4 congruent sides, then it is a square. That doesn't even make sense. No way it could be a square if it does not have 4 congruent sides. So definitely answer choice B on there. All right, 28 says a conical paper cup is shown in the diagram below and got some dimensions here. Which value is closest to the maximum volume of water this cup could hold? So we need volume of a cone, and I know volume is 1/3 area of the base times height for a cone. That's on your formula chart. The area of the base in this is a circle, so 1/3 pi r squared is the area of a circle times the height of the cone. Plug in the pieces, we get to 1/3 pi 4.5 squared times height is 6. Plug that in our calculator. 1/3 pi 4.5 squared, 6. And we get 127.23. So back on our answer choice, I do see 127.2 rounds down to 127. So it should be H on that one. Okay. For 29, the slope of a line passing through -2,5 is -3/4, which ordered pair represents a point on this line. So I am going to write this in point slope form and then see which other one plugs in and is a solution. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. That should allow me to very easily plug in my point. Y minus y1 is 5 equals -3/4. X minus x1 is -2. And now I could check to see which one of these other points is a solution to this. So let's try. I'll go ahead and simplify. Y minus 5 equals -3/4 x plus 2 on there. All right, so let's plug in and see what we get. This first one, A, -1 minus 5 equals -3/4, 6 plus 2. So -1 minus 5 is -6. 8, -3/4 of 8 is 24 divided by 4 is -6. All right, pretty sure that one's the answer. Let's check another one, see if it works as well. Let's check 2, 8. So y would be 8. So I get 8 minus 5 is 3 equals -3/4 of 4. So 3 equals -3. That's not true. Check the other two. What we come up with. So y minus y1 should be 1 minus 5 equals -3/4. X is -5 minus -2 or plus 2. So -4 equals -3/4. -5 plus 2 equals -3. And -3 times -3 is -9/4. That's not true. And the last one doesn't work either. -4 doesn't equal -3. So that one doesn't work either. Definitely answer choice A. Which statement about a triangular prism is true? So a triangular prism. Okay. A triangular prism has 4 faces, 6 edges, 4 vertices. So it looks like there's one on the bottom, one on the top, and then 3 on the side. So 5 faces. For edges, there's on the bottom, there's 1, 2, 3. On the lateral surfaces, there's 4, 5, 6. On the top, there's 7, 8, 9. So 9 edges. And then vertices, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. Okay, so 5 faces, 9 edges, 6 vertices. Answer choice H. Okay, questions 21 through 30 went a little bit faster. I'll see you guys if you need answers to questions 31 through 40 on the next video.